I don't care how much metal you listen to, you will always remember the first time you heard this song. Avenged Sevenfold's Unholy Confessions, an absolute legendary track with one of the most iconic 5/7/8 riffs of all time. Now, I did my Linkin Park video last week, and one of the top comments were talking about, hey Nick, you gotta do the history of 5/7/8. Now, that's not gonna be this video, because that video is probably gonna be like an hour long. However, Unholy Confessions is definitely a song that is one of the most iconic when it comes to a 5/7/8 riff, which is literally just 5/7/8. Wow, math really hard. But it is probably one of the songs that popularized that type of minor cool riffage that has expanded throughout generations at this point, whether it had been the melodic metalcore stuff happening in 2000, such as Killswitch, Bullet, Trivium, Parkway Drive, all the way to the 2010s when even crabcore bands like Alexandria, Bless the Fall, and like Miss May I were using it, to even modern times where like bands like Boundaries use it, and a lot of these cool like 2000s revival core bands. And it being a song that came out in 2003 off of Avenged Sevenfold's Waking the Fallen. I was 7 years old when this came out. Obviously I didn't know what metalcore was back then. I think most people that hear this song for the first time, it is their intro into like melodic metalcore, and they have no clue what the that is. But I was like 7, I was just like, why is he screaming? I don't know why he's so angry, but this is a really cool song. And the harmonies that come in, man, those third harmonies, god damn, dude. That's such a ballsy move for a song. Again, you go to 30 seconds, there's no vocals, it's just this sick ass pushing riff with drums that are just thump, 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 with a puta beat. All right, mad respect to the Rev, by the way. Absolute iconic drummer, and you hear him shine so much all over this track, especially coming right here into where it actually gets into the song. Again, and you got vocals here where you start with Matt screaming into pure singing. Again, this was 2003, the age where a band was either very heavy and screamy, or they were singing. And as far as I know, when it comes to the actual influence of the origins of this song, especially the riff, which is apparent throughout the whole song, you can see it's the foundation of the song. They actually talk a little bit on the tracks, the episode where they actually talk about Unholy Confessions, and it's super interesting.
You know, and I would play it, and I was like, this is awesome.
And like, hey guys, get this in a song. Hey, anyone like this, you know, sort of thing. Like, no, but that was a good one. And it was very much his interpretation of like At the Gates.
The fact that he thought this came up with a thrash riff is also insane.
And playing with all these bands, and I wanted to just come up with this thrash riff.
Again, you could see how much the 2000s, like these guys had no idea what they were creating when it came to like metalcore, because metalcore wasn't a thing. They're just like, I want my cool shit. And when you take a song like this, you hear the influences within just like the first minute, where you hear spooky stuff, you hear At the Gates riff, you hear that their influences are get some like AFI, some Mr. Bungle, and then also obviously Pantera, which you hear a lot later in this song. It's wacky for someone to come up with a concept like this, and then you start it with screaming and then instantly singing. Dude, into this iconic, just simple breakdown right here. Dum dum, dum dum dum. Oh god. What is that? You hear this guitar work, sure, you get a breakdown with dun dun da 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 da. Then Avenged add this spooky ass flair. They were just about the circus life during that, which makes it so them. They were so uniquely being, but god damn, this is just hit no matter how old I am. Nothing hurts my world. Just vocals right on it, dude. And then they just go for this angelic melodic chorus with these little like lick tidbits, dude, which is so goddamn catchy. And they set it up so, again, I don't know if it's intentional, but so geniusly, where the song starts with screaming and then it's singing. So you blend both of these worlds together so well that when it does almost crazy jagged turn from a breakdown into this major sounding chorus, like this happy epic, like we're on a journey in the fucking woods. It works somehow. How the did they do this 23 years ago, yet I still have to get annoyed at modern metal bands because they go from a heavy part to this pure clean singing thing, and it makes no sense. They were doing this so well 23 years ago. This is crazy to see this blend all the way in 2003. And then this goes into, dude, oh my God, I remember hearing this for the first time. I lost my shit. This was just when I wanted to start learning guitar and all that stuff. Hearing duetting guitars. God damn, and the harmonies, the thirds, man, make your voice so happy. And again, they're doing it in harmonic minor and with some chromatic twists that just make it so goddamn dark. And there's so many influences you can tell happening at the same time. And of course, you know, harmonies and beautiful moments like this aren't unique to Avenged, but they are definitely a band, I think, that popularized it far more than anyone when it came to those guitar duets during the 2000s, because bands stopped caring as much about solos and guitar duetting, and Avenged was like, no, we're doing more of that. We're making it spooky, dark, and weird as f. And you hear that influence particularly still in bands like Ice Nine Kills today. I mean, Black Veil, sure, I guess. What other spooky bands are there? There's spooky bands. Comment the best spooky band you know. Also, again, structurally psychotic. Funny, we just like talked about Linkin Park, which structurally, it's like the same riff, the whole song, same groove, beautiful, 2.5-minute banger. This song is the polar opposite of all of that. There are like 8 different parts that just happen, and we are now just getting back to the re-intro of the riff where the structure kind of changes. Dude, I don't care how old I am, I will always love playing that riff. It's so addicting. The ultimate drop D 5-7-8 riff. Just like the southern hell yeah brother vibe, but hearing that in a song where you're already like, okay, we're metalcore, we like At the Gates, okay, we like breakdowns, we like bleeding through, okay, we like AFI, so it's spoopy, okay, also like let's write a really like happy melodic weird chorus. Like it's just like, let's just throw it all together, let's figure it out, dude. I got too excited, dude. I got too excited. And then another new riff is engaged here. The vocals are pumping, the bass is going, and dude, there's so much energy embedded into the song, and they sound so good. Even though there's a lot going on, and structurally, this is a pretty progressive song, even though it has 2 choruses and repeating. Pretty progressive in terms of structure. It's 5 minutes. And Jimmy pulls off some of those tasteful licks on the drums in the song. Just such good double kick work. It makes that riff happen. A lot of the riffs happen thanks to the drums. And then same thing, a lot of the drum moments can happen because the riffs are going. Like they're just such a unique synergetic relationship between those two things when it comes to Avenged Sevenfold, the drumming and the guitars. And of course, sure, the vocals and the bass too. That like, it makes it such a cohesive unit that just goes hard, man. It's really hard to pinpoint bands that are like, you sound like Avenged Sevenfold. There's bands like, oh yeah, you sound like Slipknot, or obviously that band tries to sound like Linkin Park. Avenged is one of those bands where very uniquely, they are so weird, and I mean this in the nicest way, and have so many different influences that I think it's really hard to sound similar to them unless you just copy paste all of their influence for influence. But what you hear is all of those influences further popularized because of Avenged, and you hear that a lot prominently in modern metal. Dude, those bends, bro. Since Sin and Zach could be bendy boys. And then you hear Jimmy, dude, coming in with the double kick. And no vocals. I love that. Just instrumental. You know, they could do like a or whatever the Honestly, man, this is such a cool song to just reminisce about, whether it's because it was made in 2000 and then just the times were so different, or if it's about seeing like, this is probably the first 5-7-8 riff most musicians, most people ever hear. You know, you don't have to be a guitarist to appreciate a good ass, you know? Like a 5-7-8 riff. It's something that has stood the test of time, which again, if you guys really want the history of that, it goes way back in time, so we gotta talk about that soon. But there's kids on TikTok and shorts or whatever the literally playing like just, and the first one they usually play is like Unholy Confessions, and I'm like, what happened? I did this like 20 years ago, you know, like I was a kid in my room, like 9 years old, poorly playing this riff, might I add, and being like, dude, I'm so cool. Again, this video is not just directed at guitarists. It's directed to, I think, people, again, who love metal and want to celebrate that era and see like, wow, that era has inspired so much of what I listen to nowadays. And it's just cool to go back and appreciate these songs. I think this song has stood the test of time to be one of the biggest metalcore bangers of all time. So yeah, mad respect to Avenged. I think it's still in their like top 10. And this is a massive band. They have like 13,000 or 13 million monthly listeners. They go, man. Many albums later. And I'm sure they're sick of people, you know, saying, dude, come on, play metalcore. They've evolved crazy. There's so many songs I could have picked, I feel like, from their catalog. But this one's near and dear to me. It's iconic, man. And I want to celebrate it. But let me know what you guys think. Did Unholy Confessions change the game, change the whole direction of modern metal and what it turned out to be? Or is it just unholy? You let me know. I don't know what that was. That was some kind of segue. And yeah, let me know what other bands or songs you guys think changed the direction of modern metal, what you want to see. There's a lot I have on kind of a list, and a lot of exciting songs I want to reminisce and go back to and kind of just explore and talk about. But 578 for life, dude. I love that riff.